Hi, I'm Valentina from Ukraine.
And I'm Mr. East from the US.
After living for a while in the US, we decided to come back to my beloved motherland.
In the middle of a war.
I was feeling homesick.
So we hadn't been to Valentina's beloved motherland since before the February 2022 Russian invasion, but we'd kept in contact with people here, and they told us that while things were very difficult in the east, where the front line is, and that the capital of the country, Kiev, was also heavily bombarded, in the western part of the country, things were pretty much the way they were when we left last time in 2021.
While in the US, the idea for our YouTube channel came to us. We thought it was a good idea to show my country behind the headlines. What life is really like here.
And while we've shown some glimpses of the effects of the war in our videos, we reckoned that there were enough YouTube channels and videos about war-torn Ukraine. We wanted to do something different. We noticed that when we talked to people outside of Ukraine who'd never been here, their impression of the country was that it was a kind of an impoverished, backwards, third world land without electricity, where people rode donkeys, or if they drove cars, they drove these antiquated Soviet vehicles that were held together with glue and duct tape. And there was no food in the shops.
Except some withered potatoes.
And nevertheless, despite being this sad, impoverished, war-torn land, Ukraine was somehow a beacon of freedom and democracy for the world. So we wanted to show the situation on the ground. Even though the war remains in the back of everyone's minds here, the truth is that men and women go to work, children go to school. The cities, at least in the western part of the country, remain intact, and many of them are quite beautiful. Bars, cafes, and restaurants are busy. The markets, the real ones, as well as the so-called super ones,
We have those too.
are well stocked. And even though the country has numerous problems that predate the war,
Like the roads.
in general things function quite well here. In fact, east of the West though it may be, Ukraine is still very European. But it's like the Europe of decades ago, back when things were still affordable, before the cities were groaning beneath the weight of all the tourists, back when those lovely little wrinkles that were unique to each European land had yet to be ironed out by bureaucracy. Indeed, we would definitely say that those who are seeking a Europe as it used to be kind of experience should definitely come to Ukraine.
I can already hear the objections. What? To come to Ukraine in the middle of a war? Won't I get killed? Well, to which we can only answer, watch our videos. We traveled in Western Ukraine from May 2025 to January 2026 and not a scratch.
Well, I did break my pinky finger in June, but that was completely unwar related.
During those 9 months, we lived in a mountain village and visited several mountain village resorts.
We visited beautiful Ukrainian cities. Ivano-Frankivsk, Lviv, Uzhhorod, Kamenets-Podilsky, and my lovely hometown, Chernivtsi.
We went to saunas.
I cooked some excellent Ukrainian dishes.
We interviewed a famous Orthodox priest and a beekeeper who claimed his bee products could heal just about anything that might ail you.
And a few foreign residents of Ukraine. And some of our lovely students. And a lady who makes horses out of cheese. And some mountain shepherds. And my parents.
We hunted mushrooms in the forest.
Mushrooms. I got assaulted by a cow.
We drank some miracle healing spring waters. We visited a Soviet sanatorium.
That was fun.
We dipped on down to Romania for a Halloween trip to the Merry Cemetery.
That was fun too. We listened to a lot of live music.
We got a kitten.
We drank some good wines.
And beer. We saw a traditional mountain Christmas ceremony.
And we saw some gorgeous castles.
And we even partied with the bread maker at one of those castles.
Yeah, we packed a lot into those 9 months.
Which brings us to this video. On January 30th, 2026, we left Ukraine.
Just for a vacation.
Yeah, we're back now, as you can see.
But in January, we were living in a wooden cabin in the Carpathian Mountains.
Beautiful and serene as it was also cold. Very cold.
We decided it was time to go somewhere warm, so we booked our flights from Budapest, Hungary to...
So we're going on our evening walk, even though it's not really evening, but it gets dark around here at about 5:15 or so. We have our evening walk at 4:30, as we're doing now. So as seems to be the habit in rural places the world over, people just leave their old broken down cars to decay in the front yard. There's another one.
Sometimes it seems to me that that's where cars come to die.
Yeah.
If you want a nice, peaceful place, that's
That's right. A nice, peaceful, final resting place for your automobile. Here you go. You got your collapsed shed here that also has a car in it.
Yeah, it's a garage.
Yeah, it's a garage. The country life, gentle viewers. The country life. So I don't know when we're going to air this episode, but these are our last days here. We're going on a vacation to somewhere warm.
Sometimes it seems to me that Carpathians is home for retired cars.
You already made that joke, kind of. Or do you think you just didn't tell it very well the first time?
Maybe, I don't know, just in case. I don't know which one you're gonna use. Just trying to be humorous, to add some humor to our channel. I don't want it to be gloomy. I want people to laugh, to have fun, and watch more of our beautiful videos. I'm not some gloomy, humorless Eastern European.
Well, I don't know if anybody's ever accused Eastern Europeans of lacking humor. It's just that generally the humor tends to be a bit sour.
Just a little darker.
Baby's first trip.
Oh, scary. So scary, you see?
Oh, we're in the tunnel.
Baby, you shouldn't be scared. Your parents are with you. Oh, that's exciting.
So the reason why we're bringing our beloved Shikoku, our darling kitten, to her grandparents is because we're planning to leave the country ourselves here very soon. Although we've enjoyed our time with Ukrainian winter in the Carpathians, it's been amazing. It's been a real winter wonderland. At a certain point you get a little tired of cold, so we did a bit of research. You can't fly from Ukraine to anywhere because the airspace is closed, but we did a little research where's the cheapest warm place that we can go from Budapest, and it turned out to be
Hello guys, this is Valentina, and you probably cannot even hear me because the generator is working. We are in my hometown, Chernivtsi, in wintertime, as you can see. And the thing is that most of the day they cut off the electricity, and some cafes and restaurants still work, but that's what they have to do.
So the generators here are running fairly often. Chernivtsi is not quite getting the outages that Kiev is, but it's still...
Yeah, you hear the sound of generators, and this is on the main walking street. You see all this, and it's extremely cold. I don't know if you can feel it, but I'm freezing.
So we just took a short day trip here to drop the cat off at Valentina's parents' place, but we're missing our wood-burning stove in our mountain cabin already.
I want to go back.
While Valentina is still sleeping, I get up and make the fire and coffee so she can have coffee. When she wakes up, it makes her so happy. Always delighted to wake up to coffee in a nice warm house, a nice warm log cabin.
Huh? Coffee?
Coffee!
Where's my coffee?
Coming!
On January 29th, we moved out of our beloved log cabin in the Carpathians after 6 months here, because it's time that East to the West takes a well-earned vacation somewhere warm. We've really enjoyed it here. We've had a very peaceful time. There's our famous Forbes millionaire couple photograph. This is it. This is my last video of our little house. Maybe next autumn and winter we'll come back. Anyway, so we are finally leaving our wooden cabin in the Carpathians. We are on our way to the small city of Mukachevo. We're going to stay overnight there, and from there we are going to take a train to Budapest and stay in Budapest for a few days and then fly on out to our vacation spot.
I'm very excited. I've never been to Hungary.
So here we are at the beautiful and delightful Mukachevo bus station.
Yeah, you can see it's a nice sunny day.
There it is, in all its glory. Mukachevo bus station. And there goes my hat. We just arrived after a painfully long bus ride that actually didn't cover a very great distance, but it was just slow and stopped a lot. So, and here we are. We've left our Carpathian mountain wonderland for Mukachevo, which is yeah, we've been here a couple times. It's a fairly nondescript town, but with a really cool castle. And we're gonna stay the night here and head on to Budapest on the train tomorrow morning. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah. Peace to everyone.
Okay.
Help me.
Street art of Mukachevo. That's new. Wasn't here last time we were in town.
This one was here.
Yeah, we've had a coffee here before.
Yeah.
But we'll get coffee here again tomorrow
But
if we're gonna train.
let us tell you one thing. February is not a good month to be.
Yeah, you don't want to visit Mukachevo in February. Mukachevo. We've never spent much time here, and since we've returned just today, we remember why.
No, but the truth is that we've never been to this neighborhood, and this neighborhood reminds us of the neighborhood we used to live in, Beryhov. You watched our video about Beryhov. So you might remember that. So it's very, what would you say? I don't know the right word to describe it, but you can see and find your own word. Going to Hungary, guys.
Passing through the town of Beryhov, where we used to live. So we're here at the Ukrainian border. We're about to cross over into Hungary, and we've been stopped here at the border because in my backpack I have an old book.
English Prose, 1137 to 1890, selected by John Matthews Manley, Ph.D.
It's a very old book.
Published in 1909 in Boston, USA.
I like old books. I'm not much of a TikTok guy, so. But I guess the old book is a problem. You want to explain what the problem is with the old book?
Yeah, they were very confused, and they had to take a picture of this book and send the picture to some expert who could tell them if we are allowed to take this book or not, because obviously there is some Ukrainian law that says books before some year can't be taken. So
it needs to be analyzed.
the thing is that it wasn't even bought in Ukraine, so
That's right. I got it.
got it in the U.S.
Later, we were told that anything over 50 years old, presumably not including your grandfather, is considered a culturally significant item of Ukraine. It didn't matter that we explained to them that it was an English language book and showed them that it was clearly printed in the U.S. Nope. They said we should have declared it when we came into the country. So, not only did they confiscate it, they also kept us in an office for over 2 hours while they filled out paperwork.
And we were in a bus with several other passengers who had to wait for us.
And afterwards, they told us that we'd receive a fine of at least $100 for it, and we bought it for $6 in Maine. So, word of advice, friends, if you decide to come to Ukraine and are bringing old foreign books, make sure you declare them.
Okay, after a long ordeal at the border, we are in Hungary.
All right, so we had a wonderful time with our van from Ukraine. Dropped us off on the highway in the middle of about 20 kilometers outside of Budapest.
That's right, and we had to hitchhike, and a very nice lady gave us a lift to this metro station, and
here we are.
now we have tickets.
We're going to take the metro into the center of the city. So,
All right,
welcome to Budapest.
welcome to Budapest.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everything. Farewell, golden summer. Farewell, lovely spring. It breaks my heart to think that I'm going goodbye. Goodbye. Hear the king